Welcome to SwitchCorner, my name is Alex. Today we're going to be taking a look at my favourite Switch eShop deals coming in under $10 or your regional equivalent. In here I cover the US, Canada, UK, EU and Australia. A quick note then, Black Friday it is here, or at least it's here for most of the regions except for the US and Canada. That means this video, it's going to be a little different than usual, but before I do explain, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals daily, and let's get started. Grabbing anything then, save even more cash this Black Friday by using a cornershop.gg for your discount eShop credit. You'll get 10% off at checkout using a code CORNER, and that is going to be instant delivery via email. This video then, I've front loaded it with 5 games exclusive to the US and Canada. The remaining 15 games then, those are going to be Black Friday drops that are available right now in the UK, EU and Australia. Every year for some reason the Black Friday sale, it starts late in the US and Canada. Now if you do want them, add them to the wish list or even a region hop. Also, once they are live in the US and Canada, I'll be compiling all of these videos together with all region pricing. I also then have a $10 eShop gift card winner to announce on one more to give away. To enter, drop a comment down below for your chance to win in next week's video. Also then watch out for Saturday's Any Price video as well, because we got some real heavy hitters coming in above that $10 mark. Paradise Killer, today's video I have 20 games for you all, so this will be a bit quickfire on all of these games, but this one, it's a first person mystery detective gem set in what is a vaporwave world. Now I wasn't sure on the style initially, but actually playing it, it's just a fantastic open world, a unique cast and an absolutely stunning soundtrack. The idea though of this world, it's invaded every millennia or so by demons. To combat this, we as a population, we move on to a new planet. The problem, the council behind this move, they were murdered on the eve and we must now get to the bottom of it. A genius game and a new low price here, 60% off. Moonlighter then gets a new low price, 85% off, and this, it's an action RPG with roguelite elements, and we are a shopkeeper who dreams of becoming a hero. The gameplay, enter dungeons, collect goods, occasionally do hero-like stuff, and then get the reward and sell it at the store. It's a unique idea of combat shopkeeping, and alongside that expect crafting and companions to interact with as well. Now this deal, you see, it is the base game, but you can buy the expansion standalone or bundled with the game, both also at a new low price. Now this expansion, it's basically called Between Dimensions, and it's adding in new monsters, bosses, new weapons, armory, shop items and rings. Children of Morta then gets a new low of 75% off. This is a gem of a game that's seen a constant support since release, including the addition of a mode that would be comparable to Hades in design. The core experience, though, a roguelite with a heavy emphasis on its narrative, so you're playing as a family of heroes that fight against corruption and protect this land. It's 7 playable characters, it packs a local co-op, and the visuals I absolutely love. Since launch then, they've also added a new playable character, new items and new game plus. The complete edition then also gets a new low as well, or you can pay for the DLC separately. That adds in new characters and forms including skins alongside an animal shelter system and boosts. A quick self-plug then, if you do own an Xbox, consider checking us out over at XboxCorner as well. We have a Black Friday deals video going live later today, their sale went live too, and we also have then reviews, Game Pass breakdowns and graphical comparisons weekly. The support, always appreciated, so thank you all so much, and I've linked the channel in the pinned comment down below. Hellmut the Badass from Hell then, it's 80% off, a new low, and I actually ended up with a physical release of this. Now is it worth a full price? Not really honestly, but this price I think it is more than fair. This one though, a shooter dungeon crawler where you can transform, and each complete run it basically unlocks further transformations. Not the longest game honestly, but I got a fair few hours of entertainment from it, you know, different runs, and yeah, I'd take a look if something with a bit more challenge is your thing. In Other Waters is the last all-region game then, and this one acquired taste. I've got my full review in the pinned comment below, but it's a beautifully done exploration adventure game that throws you on an alien world as you look for your friend. It's unique too, the visuals are simple, almost like a radar, but you won't find many bad words against it. You've just got to be into like slow burns with this one, but it's a new low price of 70% off. I will say though, again, a warning, acquired taste. Definitely check out a review if that's mine or someone else's. Alright, so that is it for those in the US and Canada. The Black Friday sale is still not live, as I said, and we are jumping into that now. That said though, you got a couple of options. You could wishlist these, as they will be live here in the next, week. Or alternatively, you could region hop to the UK or EU. If you do need UK or EU credit as well, do know you can actually do that over on cornershop.gg. You'll still get 10% off at checkout using code CORNER. I've tried it myself. It works with an American bank card. And yeah, it was still instant delivery. All you need to do is use the country select in the top right of the screen and select the region you're looking for. So 15 more games today then for you, and here's the real winners for under $10 or your regional equivalents. Horizon Chase Turbo then is here, a new low 80% off. That is a steal. You can also find the Senna expansion DLC on sale for a new low, or bundled with the game itself for just a few bucks more. Now as racers go, it is a love letter to Top Gear and Outrun, and I just think it's one of the best on the system, from its great selection of modes to the visuals and the soundtrack. It is well loved though, and with good reason. Dusk Diver then gets a new low price, 85% off, and this one an action RPG that's been blended with a hack and slash styled gameplay. The core idea: we exist in the normal world, but we're drafted by gods to fight back evil. The combat in the world, it's definitely fun, especially the day-to-day exploration, incredibly colourful. The thing I didn't like, the dungeons, they're just a bit bland and repetitive. You can see my full review in the pinned comments. Grindstone then is a personal favourite and one of the best puzzle games on the Switch. This was top 2 for me on my top 20 puzzle games, and that video is linked down below beside my dedicated review. The visuals and the music for me, that makes this the complete package. I even actually picked up the soundtrack myself, but the gameplay, it's just gem matching with enemies that you need to fight back against, and it's incredibly addictive. Just a really interesting idea overall, scale of this mountain, clear maps, take on enemies, find loot, and eventually tackle, boss encounters. It's matching the low price then, 50% off, but we haven't seen this price now in nearly a year. The Artful Escape then I really like. It's 50% off, a new low price, and this one's a platformer that puts you in the role of a musician that lives in the shadow of his uncle, a folk music legend. People basically expect him to deliver in this same genre, but he's not sure if that's really the musical style for him, and what precedes is an adventure through the universe to discover his own sound. Cinematic in design, beautiful to look at and listen to. Its only real downfall, a few frame rate wobbles, but overall I still really liked it, and it's all very, Bill and Ted-esque. Find my full review in the pinned comment down below. Blossom Tales 2, the Minotaur Prince then is a recent release, so it's a new low but a smaller discount, 20% off. I think personally it's well worth it though for those that enjoy a more old school Zelda-like experience. My full review, it's in the pinned comment, but I really enjoyed this world. The combat is simple but entertaining, and the environmental puzzles, there's a couple towards the end that pack a challenge, but they're really entertaining. It's just a return to what was introduced in the first game though. Our grandfather narrates a tale and we become the hero. It's a decent 10 or so hours of gameplay then for your cash as well, and I actually think full price is extremely fair, so this, it is a bargain. Demon Turf Neon Splash then, while I'm talking smaller discounts, this was a spin-off of the incredibly well done action platformer. Here though, we remove the combat, we focus purely on the platforming, by far the best bit of the experience, and yeah, it's basically been built out, this one, for speedrunners. Controls wise though, it's great. I still love that 2D character in a 3D world design, and that music as well, just top quality. My full review, it's in the pinned comment, but some really entertaining moments and levels packed full of challenge, and it's a new low price with 15% off. Again though, do be aware, I know it's only 15%, but this game, it was incredibly cheap to begin with. Wunderling DX then is a blast. It's here with 90% off. I actually did a sponsored video on this one, which I'll link down below, but the DX in the name you may not always see on the eShop, but it is a completely free upgrade, so do not worry, it is there. And this is an extremely unique game. Basically though, we play as the lowest form, a bad guy chasing after Carrot Man, this kind of world, hero. What precedes is a auto-runner platformer. Just some really fun and challenging moments though throughout, with a whole host of collectibles as well. The DX in the name then, this is now the definitive build, which adds in new levels, items, story segments, and even a completely free expansion. And yeah, generally this one just comes highly recommended. You can't go wrong at this price. ATOMIK RunGunJumpGun then is back, matching the low, 87% off. I like mentioning this one when it does pop, super budget as always, and like Wunderling, this is an auto runner of sorts, but imagine the difficulty is just dialed up to 11, so basically you can either shoot forward at enemies and obstacles or down to propel yourself upwards. Expect a challenge and frustration with this one, but with the right audience they will absolutely adore it, and I found myself just coming back over and over again. Cris Tales then, I know a lot were interested in this one. It's 80% off, a new low, definitely a really good price, and my full review is in the pinned comments. It's basically a love letter to classic JRPGs. It's got this stunning world and really unique mechanic then around the idea of, think, time travel almost. So basically the screen, it's split into three. You've got the past, the present and the future. So let's say you have an enemy with a metal shield. What you're going to do is soak him with water, then jump to the future to see it rust away. It's a really good idea that actually works well, and generally I actually really enjoyed that story. The problem for me with this one, just an excessive amount of load screens that just feel a little dragged out. That visual style, although again, it wins me over every single time. Curse of the Dead Gods then is 50% off, a new low price. This will be for the roguelite fans. Unlike Hades, this is actually broken down into sections as you make your way through a temple that progressively sees you basically unlock longer and longer runs. The gunplay and the melee action though is solid throughout, even if I don't like the fact it's got randomized weapons to open at the beginning. I'd personally rather choose one and then go ahead and master it. The real spin with this game though, it's gotta be the title, Curses. Basically, you progress, you'll gain curses. Most of them are going to be bad, some occasionally good, like you start to bleed out. That's definitely a bad one. It's going to kill you by the end of your run most of the time. Like any in the genre, it can basically be brutal though, and overall I generally liked it. The only other minor, I guess, complaint, looks great visually, but occasionally I'd say it can be a little too dark for its own good, and it can make some of the attacks from enemies feel a little cheap. The Last Campfire then, I really liked this one. It's from the team behind No Man's Sky, but this was released to little fanfare. It's definitely as well bite-sized in comparison. An adventure puzzle game though, you are a lost ember. You're trying to find your way back to your home. It's definitely easygoing overall with a lovely little world to explore, but then there's some unique individuals to meet on this journey, and some of the puzzles, they can be really entertaining. My full review, it's in the pinned comment below. It is a new low price though, 80% off. AI the SOMNIUM Files then returns with its low of 80% off, and this, it is a steal of a price for this one. It received a very good follow-up as well in 2022. I definitely start here though, however, and it's an adventure game, think a darker variation of almost Phoenix Wright, with everything from heavy dialogue sequences, very much visual novel-esque, to investigation and piecing together what are, I guess, fragments. Story, it's near future Tokyo. We are a detective, we're investigating a serial killer. I just love the cast, and this has been one of the gems of this generation. Some of the puzzles though, I will say as a minor complaint, they can at times feel a tiny bit too obscure. Boomerang X was a recent release then from Devolver Digital, but it didn't seem to land quite as hard as many of their titles do, but this should not be overlooked, as you'll see in my review in the pinned comment below. A first-person experience, it's essentially a shooter, but you move from arena to arena, you'll tackle the bad guys, or I guess like kind of creatures here, and then you'll explore, but the spin really is the boomerang weapon, which gradually it grants new abilities. So before you know it, you'll be doing things like teleporting to your boomerang's location. It's all sorts of crazy, and it gets incredibly, just fast. It's wrapped up then with an incredibly unique visual style, and it's a new low price then, 50% off. I really do believe though this one, it is a hidden gem. Ruiner is our penultimate game, also Devolver Digital, and a personal favourite. It just captured that old school sense of fun, a simple story that asks you to shoot everything in an isometric style. Story wise, our brother is kidnapped, it's a cyberpunk world, we are a sociopath, and we're on the hunt now to bring them back. What follows is just a whole host of weapons and enemies to kill. So yeah, I just really like this one. It's one of the better experiences in my opinion in the genre. It looks fantastic on the Switch, and that soundtrack then is just killer. This was one that I picked up a physical copy for, and now it's a new low. That is a steal of a price though as well, 80% off. Our winner of the week then, it's going to Chris HB, who brought a huge batch of games, so hopefully this $10 eShop gift card can bag you a few more. Congrats though Chris, drop me an email to claim your code, and everyone else, drop a comment down below for your chance to win in next week's video. Ari and the Will of the Wisps then gets a new low price, 66% off. It's the first time it's ever been a sub 10, and this is one of only 3 or 4 games that I've ever given on the channel a 10 out of 10, and that's been over the 5 years I've been running SwitchCorner. A Metroidvania, for me, it's one of the very best, shoulder to shoulder with the likes of Hollow Knight. In fact, I'd kind of describe it as hard to choose between the two. Hollow would be my go-to if I wanted combat, but this would win on the platforming front. It's a stunning port as well overall, but it's the gameplay that's the real winner. It's just the platforming's fluid, there's some fun upgrades in the story, you know, you're saving a friend, uncovering some truths about your destiny. A must-buy game, and I hope there's more to come from this world. And that is the video down. Again, if you are in the US or Canada like me, either wishlist these games, I'll be live here in a few days or so, or again, go ahead and region hop. Will you be picking anything up though? And let me know in the comments down below. With that then, hit subscribe, join us here for reviews and deals daily, and I'll see you all on the next video. Thanks everyone.